Republicans have taken a critical step to advance President Trump's agenda. Today, House lawmakers voted to pass a budget framework crafted by the Senate.
KCBD News Channel 11's Parker Schaffner joins us with a closer look at the legislation. Parker?
Karen and Abner, the vote is a preliminary but required step that will allow Republicans to bypass Democratic opposition. It is seen as a major win for the party, but it almost did not happen. The budget blueprint faced opposition from some Republicans, including Lubbock Representative Jody Arrington, who worried that it does not cut spending enough. The legislation calls for a minimum of $4 billion in spending cuts, well below a previous version approved by the House that called for $1.5 trillion. It would also extend Trump's tax cuts, something farm groups believe is a step in the right direction for Americans.
We feel pretty good that this was done, and now we can get to work on the rest of the long process.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed in 2017 during the first Trump administration. The act includes many provisions that help lower Americans' tax bills. However, Laramie Adams with the Texas Farm Bureau says those could go away by the end of the year.
The last thing they need is to let these important provisions expire.
One of those provisions expanded the exemption of estate tax, also known as the death tax. Adams believes it is a cruel tax.
You're essentially being taxed because a loved one passes away. Why would that be a reason to tax someone?
Currently, Americans can claim an exemption of up to $11 million per person or $22 million per couple. If the provision expires, the exemption returns to half that amount. Adams says this would hurt farmers and ranchers who are already struggling. He supports repealing the tax.
In order to pay this bill, they're having to sell at least part of their land, or in a lot of instances, sell it all. And this is land that in a lot of instances has been multi-generational.
Adams says that the tax cuts act as a safety net, much like the Farm Bill, which is yet to be updated. He believes passing an extension or making them permanent should be a priority for Congress.
If you allow these provisions to expire and farmers go out of business, you better get ready for some challenges for the consumer as well.
The focus now shifts towards drafting a complete bill and gathering support for it. The legislation would add more than $5.5 trillion to the federal government's debt over the next decade. Karen and Abner?
Thank you, Parker.